Guys. Um, I was asked recently, what's the worst thing about being a nomad? Um, Other than not having like a real bathroom with a flush toilet and, you know, hot water, a shower whenever I need one. That's the worst, seriously. Um, but to me, there's something else that really gets me. I mean, I'm all over the country, and I've been on the road. I'm in my seventh year now, and there was one year I went back east 3 times, I think. And I mean, back east, I mean back to Jersey, Maryland, Virginia. It's the homeless, and it's the young homeless that I see on the road, and it gets me. It's like I know this. I know there's homeless. We have a big problem in America with our homeless, and there's a lot of seniors that are homeless. But it's those young ones, like 24 and younger, 16 to 24. That's the age that just breaks my heart. It's like these are somebody's children. They don't belong in the street. And if anybody knows me, I will feed you. I will go hungry myself, but I'll make sure you have a hot meal and you have snacks. And that's just who I am. I remember once my friend Dee and we went into Denver to go to Voodoo Donut. And there was these 3 homeless on the side of the sidewalk. And there was 2 older men and a young kid. And I remember him. He just stuck out. And there was one guy, he was laying on his side up against the wall, and there was another, the older one, sitting like by the guy's knees. And that's important where they're sitting and laying. I'm walking by, and all of a sudden the one laying on his side starts fighting with the one sitting by his knees, and he's like scissor kicking him. I'm like, whoa, God, just stop. And I walked past them, and the young kid looked up at us and smiled and said hello, and Dee and I said hi. And I went into Voodoo Donut, and I bought them each just a regular glazed donut. And I went out, and they're still fighting. Like, they're still, like, this guy's just scissor kicking the other guy, and the other guy's just yelling. And it was almost hysterical. I mean, I was kind of worried. I didn't know what would happen, if it would get worse. But I went over to them. I said, excuse me. I said, I bought you guys some donuts, but if you're going to continue this childish fighting, you're not getting any. I'm going to give them all to this young man. And the 2 older ones, oh, sorry. And so I gave the young man the bag of the donuts, and all 3 of them were grateful. And that young man just stuck out at me. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. And I thought about that boy for months. Like, he is somebody's son. And, like, I don't know his story. I'll never know his story, never know where he is again. But, like, being with those 2 older men, who obviously the one laying down kicking had some mental health issues. Like, he didn't belong with them. And it just bothered me. Ouch, I'm having a knee problem. And I see this all the time. I see these young kids out there that they just don't need to be there. But I will feed them. I had another one. I used to make dog coats. I used to recycle old like wool coats and stuff. And I would make dog coats, and I had a little Facebook store. And it was middle of winter out in Colorado, and it was freezing. And he was down on the corner with a dog, and he was barely dressed. I mean, he was dressed for like fall. And I pulled up to him. I said, are you hungry? He says, yeah. I said, you drink coffee? Yeah. I said, I'll be right back. So I ran home because I just lived around the corner. I made him a thermos of coffee. My daughter made him a couple sandwiches. We got him some snacks, and I grabbed him a dog coat and a blanket and went back and gave them to him. And he was another young kid, just a teenager. Like, he said he was from Oregon, and, like, why did you pick Colorado for all places? I was told once by my therapist that I'm an empath, and she said, you're too much of an empath. So if I'm good at anything, I'm too good at caring about people. I just thought that was something. Yeah. Well, anyway, I just wanted to. That was my answer to this person who like what don't I like about being a nomad? It's seeing the homeless and how many more we have on the street, and how much younger they're getting every year, just younger and younger. And I just don't get it. We as Americans have to do something for them, not just for our seniors that are homeless, our vets that are homeless, which that's another whole story right there. That just rips my heart out. These people went and fought for our country, and they're living on the street. And yeah, but the young ones, we need to help them. They need to be off the street. And I met another man um, in New Mexico. I had pulled over to check, put oil in my Hummer, and he walked over to me. He was with two other people. I was kind of sketched out by it. But the other couple walked away, and the girl yelled over. There was two guys and a girl. She goes, "Oh, I like your truck." I'm like, "Thanks." And like, all right, I'm watching my back. I was in a very sketchy area of town, and he was an Indian, Native American. He came over and he said, "Are you broke down?" And he was just making small talk, and then he's going on and on about how he's homeless, how his parents just died, and I knew he just wanted money. And he had this big like herpes sore on him, and he had his mask during the pandemic. He had a mask on, but you could still see, and I knew what it was. It's like this young man, just like, why isn't anybody taking care of these kids? Like, just why? So I said, "Are you hungry?" He says, "Yeah," and I didn't want to go in my trailer. That's one thing, ladies, watch your back. So I had a box of graham crackers in my front seat. So, and that's the only door I had open was my driver door. So I walked over, I grabbed graham crackers, and I handed them to him. And he was grateful. And, we had a little conversation. He wished me luck on the road, and I told him, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm homeless." I said, "This is my home. I drag it around the country with me." And he was another one that stuck with me for quite a while. And we just need to help them. I think that's the worst part of me traveling all over the place, is seeing in every city the amount of kids that have no place to go, and they need an education. Um, they just need help, and I know a lot of them. I won't even get into the ones that the addicts, the alcoholics, the ones that have mental health issues. I'm talking about the normal ones that just maybe didn't get along well with their parents, and or their home life was not the safest or the best, so they feel like they need to be out on the streets. But if you see them, just sometimes they just want to talk. They just want someone to say hello, "How are you doing?" And hand them a bag of food. I gave in Quartzsite two young kids. They had a dog, and I gave them some dog food. Well, anyway, guys, that's my bit for today. I hope you're all doing well. It got really nice out yesterday. It was beautiful. Today, this morning was cold, but it was really nice. The sun was out, but the wind is back. Yeah, the wind's back. Just can't get away from it. But anyway, everything's well and good, and I'll talk to you guys later.